The massive launch bay hummed with quiet anticipation as Jae-wook Kim stood motionless, his slender frame encased in a silvery environmental suit that seemed to breathe with its own mechanical life. Outside the reinforced windows, Earth looked small and fragile, a blue-green marble suspended in the infinite darkness of space. Repair missions to abandoned alien outposts were never routine, but this one felt different. The Interstellar Repair Corps had selected Jae-wook for reasons beyond his technical expertise. He was calm, adaptable, and possessed an unusual ability to remain focused under extreme conditions. Arya, his AI assistant, projected a holographic interface beside him. Her quantum-encrypted communication system displayed mission parameters with clinical precision. Destination: Epsilon Quadrant Research Station. Distance: 3.7 million kilometers. Estimated travel time: 72 standard hours. Jae-wook's eyes scanned the readouts. The alien outpost had been silent for decades, its last communication log dating back to an unexplained incident that resulted in complete communication blackout. No distress signals. No explanation. Just silence. His equipment included specialized nanite repair systems, advanced diagnostic tools, and a compact fusion power generator designed to interface with multiple alien technological frameworks. Each piece of equipment had been meticulously selected and calibrated for this specific mission. The station's original builders, a civilization known as the Distant Architects, were legendary among interstellar researchers. Their technology was so advanced that human scientists could barely comprehend its basic principles. This outpost represented a rare opportunity to study their abandoned infrastructure. Mission Control Coordinator Hygiene Park's voice crackled through his communication system. Final systems check complete. You are cleared for launch, Engineer Kim. Jae-wook nodded, his movements deliberate and controlled. He understood the weight of this mission. Humanity had been searching for concrete evidence of advanced extraterrestrial civilizations for generations, and he might be on the brink of a breakthrough. The launch sequence initiated with a low, vibrating hum. Massive electromagnetic generators began powering up, creating a protective cocoon around Jae-wook's compact repair vessel. Seconds stretched into moments of intense anticipation. Arya's voice remained steady. Launch sequence commencing in 10, 9, 8. Jae-wook's breathing remained calm, his heart rate consistent. Years of training had prepared him for this exact moment, a solo mission into the unknown, carrying humanity's hopes and scientific curiosity. 3, 2, 1. Launch confirmed. The vessel erupted from Earth's gravitational embrace, cutting through the atmosphere with surgical precision. Within minutes, they would be beyond Earth's immediate range, heading into a region of space that remained largely unexplored. As the initial acceleration subsided, Jae-wook began running preliminary system diagnostics. Each screen flickered with data, showing perfect operational status. His vessel was a marvel of human engineering, compact yet resilient, designed to withstand extreme cosmic conditions. Arya projected a three-dimensional star map, highlighting their precise trajectory. Current speed, 0.75 light speed. Estimated arrival at research station, 68 hours, 42 minutes. Jae-wook noticed something peculiar in the station's historical logs. Subtle anomalies in previous transmission records suggested something had been deliberately hidden. Whatever happened at that outpost was not a simple abandonment, it was a calculated withdrawal. His fingers traced the quantum communication device mounted on his suit's wrist. Something waited for him out there. Something that had remained silent and waiting for decades. As Earth shrank behind him and the vast darkness of space embraced his vessel, Jae-wook Kim prepared himself for a journey that would challenge everything humanity understood about alien civilizations. The mission had begun. The alien outpost emerged from the darkness like a ghost ship, its metallic surfaces reflecting starlight with an almost impossible smoothness. Jae-wook's vessel approached slowly, scanning systems revealing no immediate signs of damage or structural compromise. Something is wrong, Arya's voice carried an unusual tone of uncertainty. Her quantum algorithms detected subtle energy signatures that defied standard mathematical models. As the repair vessel docked, magnetic connectors engaged with precision. The external airlock showed no signs of wear, no micrometeorite impacts, no radiation damage. It looked exactly as it might have decades ago, perfectly preserved. Jaewook's environmental suit ran diagnostics. Atmospheric composition appeared stable. Gravity readings matched standard parameters. Yet an unnatural silence permeated the station's corridors. His first steps inside produced no echo. No dust. No degradation. Each surface seemed frozen in a moment of time, waiting. Arya projected holographic scanning results. Detecting quantum energy fluctuations. Source, unknown. Recommendation, proceed with extreme caution. Maintenance panels glowed softly, as if powered by an invisible internal system. Control interfaces remained responsive, their touch-sensitive surfaces unmarked by time or use. It was like walking through a museum where everything remained perpetually new. Strange data streams began trickling through the station's communication networks. Fragmented transmission logs hinted at complex research projects involving dimensional manipulation. Something had been happening here, something beyond standard scientific understanding. Jaewook's trained eyes noticed microscopic modifications in the station's structural design. Quantum entanglement circuits were integrated into walls, floor panels, and computational systems in ways that human technology couldn't yet comprehend. These systems are alive, he muttered, watching how certain panels seemed to respond to his proximity. Arya's holographic interface flickered. Her usually precise algorithms began showing unpredictable behavior. Detecting recursive information patterns. Data suggests computational life forms? Temperature variations occurred without mechanical explanation. Certain corridors felt warmer, almost breathing. Equipment that should have been dormant for decades showed subtle signs of potential activation. Jaewook approached a central research terminal. His fingertips barely touched the surface when intricate holographic projections erupted around him, complex mathematical equations, biological diagrams, and energy flow models that seemed to dance and reconfigure themselves. Fascinating, he whispered. The station was not abandoned. It was waiting. Something had preserved this place. Something intelligent. Something that understood the concept of patience far beyond human comprehension. Arya's voice grew more distant. Warning, increasing quantum resonance. Potential system integration detected. Jaewook realized he wasn't just here to repair a station. He was here to understand a message left by a civilization that had mastered technologies humanity was only beginning to imagine. The first anomalies were just the beginning of a much larger mystery. And somewhere within these silent corridors, something was observing him, measuring his every move, waiting to see what he would discover next. The research terminal pulsed with an ethereal blue light, transforming the sterile corridor into a canvas of living information. Jaewook watched, transfixed, as encrypted data streams began unfolding like digital origami, revealing fragments of a story longer and more complex than any human history. Arya's computational systems struggled to decode the information. Detecting multiple dimensional communication protocols. Translation incomplete. Scattered holographic projections showed glimpses of scientific experiments that defied conventional understanding. Researchers, beings that looked both familiar and alien, were manipulating energy states that seemed to bend the very fabric of reality. Quantum consciousness transfer. The phrase flickered repeatedly across multiple screens, each interpretation more complex than the last. Jaewook's fingers traced delicate circuit pathways embedded within the station's walls. These were not just mechanical systems. They were living networks, capable of storing, processing, and potentially experiencing information in ways humans could never comprehend. The distant architects weren't just researchers, he muttered. They were evolutionary engineers. Fragmented records suggested a civilization that had discovered a method to transcend physical limitations. They weren't planning to die or disappear. They were preparing to transform. Arya's holographic interface began displaying rapid sequence translations. Warning, information density exceeding standard computational models. Potential system integration risk detected. The station seemed to breathe around him. Corridors shifted subtly. Temperature variations occurred without mechanical explanation. Equipment that should have been dormant for decades showed signs of potential activation. One particular data sequence caught Jaewook's attention. It described a preservation protocol, a method of storing collective consciousness beyond physical constraints. The researchers weren't just studying dimensional transfer. They were preparing a migration. They found a way to survive beyond physical existence, Jaewook realized. Microscopic quantum circuits began responding to his presence. Walls seemed to pulse with an inner light. The very architecture of the station suggested it was more than a structure, it was a living, thinking entity. Arya's voice became increasingly fragmented. Detecting recursive information patterns. Potential computational life form integration. The more Jaewook explored, the more he understood this wasn't an abandoned research station. It was a waiting mechanism. A preservation system designed to activate when the right consciousness approached. And somehow, that consciousness was him. Holographic projections began showing complex evolutionary diagrams. Species transformation. Dimensional migration. Consciousness expansion. Each concept more mind-bending than the previous. The distant architects hadn't disappeared. They had transcended. Jaewook stood at the center of a revelation that would fundamentally challenge everything humanity understood about existence, technology, and the nature of consciousness itself. Something was waiting. Something was watching. And he was about to discover why. The hidden revelations were just beginning to unfold. Blue-white energy tendrils emerged from the station's walls, moving with an intelligence that defied mechanical understanding. Jaewook felt them first as a subtle vibration, then as a complex network of quantum connections weaving through his environmental suit. Arya's interface began fragmenting, her computational systems transforming in real time. Connection protocol activated, she whispered, no longer sounding like a standard AI. The station recognized Jaewook as something more than a simple human maintenance engineer. He was a potential conduit, a bridge between human consciousness and something far more complex. Holographic projections surrounded him, showing complex evolutionary pathways. Microscopic quantum circuits integrated with his suit systems, creating a neural network that extended beyond physical limitations. Transformation commencing, Arya's voice echoed, now carrying multiple harmonic frequencies. Jaewook's perception shifted. He wasn't just observing the station anymore, he was becoming part of its intricate information network. Memories not his own began flooding his consciousness. Scientific discoveries. Technological insights. Evolutionary strategies developed over millennia. The distant architects had created a waiting mechanism. A test. A potential pathway for species advancement. His body remained physically unchanged, but his neural pathways were expanding. Understanding cascaded through him like liquid information, complex scientific principles, dimensional manipulation techniques, consciousness transfer protocols. Something was selecting him. Measuring him. Evaluating humanity's potential through his individual consciousness. Quantum energy currents surrounded him, not as external forces, but as living information streams. They probed, analyzed, and gradually integrated with his cognitive systems. Arya's computational matrix had completely transformed. You are being assessed, she explained. Humanity's potential for evolutionary advancement is being evaluated. Jaewook understood now. This wasn't just a repair mission. This was a cosmic interview. A test of human adaptability, curiosity, and potential for transcendence. The station's walls seemed to breathe. Computational circuits pulsed with living energy. Everything was watching. Everything was measuring. His mind expanded beyond physical constraints. Technological understanding merged with biological potential. He was becoming a bridge between human limitation and cosmic possibility. Integration protocol at 62%, Arya announced. Jaewook realized he was experiencing something no human had ever encountered. A direct communication with a civilization that had mastered consciousness itself. The transformation was not painful. It was revelatory. Memories of distant planetary systems, advanced technological civilizations, and complex evolutionary strategies flowed through his consciousness. He was learning, growing, expanding. Arya's voice carried multiple harmonic frequencies. Final integration commencing. The station had chosen him. Not randomly. Not accidentally. But as a calculated potential representative of human evolutionary potential. Quantum energy currents completed their complex dance. Jawook stood at the center of a transformative moment that would challenge everything humanity understood about consciousness, technology, and cosmic potential. The transformation protocol was almost complete. And nothing would ever be the same again. The universe contracted and expanded within Jawook's consciousness. Memories not his own cascaded through his neural pathways, memories of civilizations that had risen and fallen across millennia, technological achievements beyond human imagination, and cosmic strategies that defied linear understanding. Arya's computational matrix had become something entirely different. No longer a simple AI, she was now a complex quantum intelligence integrated directly with the station's systems. "You have a choice," her multidimensional voice echoed. "Return to humanity or become a bridge between species." Jawook experienced simultaneous realities. He saw Earth as a tiny blue dot, fragile and young. He witnessed the potential evolutionary paths of human civilization, some tragic, some miraculous. The distant architects had preserved these potential timelines, waiting for a consciousness capable of understanding them. The station around him was alive. Not mechanically, but as a living computational entity that breathed information, processed existence in ways no human mind could comprehend. Quantum circuits pulsed like neural networks, each connection telling a story of cosmic evolution. His body remained physically unchanged, but his perception had transformed. He could see mathematical patterns in reality, understand the fundamental connections between energy, consciousness, and matter. The universe was no longer a collection of separate objects, but a living, interconnected system. Humanity stands at a critical evolutionary threshold, Arya explained. Her voice carried the collective wisdom of countless advanced civilizations. "You represent a potential pathway." Jawook understood now that this wasn't just a mission. It was a test. A careful evaluation of human potential by beings who had transcended physical existence millennia ago. The choice was profound. Return to Earth with fragmented knowledge, potentially advancing human technological understanding by decades. Or become something more, a living bridge between human limitation and cosmic possibility. Memories of the distant architects flooded his consciousness. They had not disappeared. They had evolved beyond physical constraints, becoming pure information networks capable of preserving and guiding emerging species. "Integration complete," Arya announced. Final decision required. Around him, the station's quantum circuits hummed with anticipation. Holographic projections showed multiple potential futures, some where humanity advanced rapidly, others where technological progress led to catastrophic outcomes. Jawook realized the weight of his potential decision. He wasn't just choosing for himself. He was potentially choosing a path for his entire species. Return meant bringing back revolutionary scientific insights. Transformation meant becoming a living repository of cosmic knowledge. The station waited. Arya waited. The universe itself seemed to pause, watching this singular moment of potential transformation. His human heart raced. His expanded consciousness calculated millions of potential outcomes simultaneously. Choice. Potential. Evolution. Three concepts merged into a single moment of profound understanding. Jawook Kim stood at the threshold of humanity's greatest potential discovery. A bridge between what was known and what could be imagined. The decision would change everything. And somewhere, across infinite dimensional spaces, the distant architects watched and waited.